Hey guys, sorry for the delay. I had to reboot my computer, and BeLive.tv uses your laptop or uses your webcam, so it's not on my phone. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so today I want to talk to you about how to use free groups to rock your business. I feel like a lot of people tell me that, oh, free groups don't work for me. I've tried free groups and I just can't convert. And even like using my system, sometimes I hear people just, struggle with it. And so I think that I can provide you some insight onto what you're, maybe missing. There are a few very simple tweaks that I think make the biggest difference. And I want to talk about some of those best practices. But if you've never run free groups before, I'm going to give you some, basic guidelines. But I don't want to talk about every step in doing a free group because I have a little outline. I have a document that you can take, and you can't hear me. Okay, she's saying she can't hear me. Colleen can hear. Okay, maybe it just took a second for the audio to start. Can everyone hear me now? Would you mind commenting below? I want to make sure that people can hear me. I don't want to talk. Okay, we're good. All right. So we're talking about free groups. I'm going to hand you over my system. I'll put it in the file section or something so that you can just read through it and kind of look at exactly what I do, the timeline of everything, like even some sample posts. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time going there right now. I don't think that'll be the best use of this time. Hand this over. I hand exactly how to do it over a lot. And people miss some very key components. And so I think the first thing to recognize, I do want to invite you to ask questions. This time, I think both Monday and Tuesday, I told you I'm not going to be able, I'll be too distracted, but I do think this is a topic that would be a lot more valuable for it to be more of a Q&A. So if there's a specific question, a lot of it I'll get to, but there's a specific question that, around what I'm talking about, like, go ahead. I'd love this to be more conversational for sure. Okay, so I have notes to make sure I don't lose track. No, so let me open those. So the first thing I think to recognize is why to do free groups. Bear with me because I think you're gonna, people are to the good stuff. Like, this is the part people miss, and if you don't have a good understanding of the context around it, then you're gonna fall flat. It's just gonna be you're following someone else's system, and that's why you're gonna feel like it's not actually converting. But so the first thing is to have a good solid understanding of why you're doing free groups, because that filter through which you're operating is super important to you actually interjecting what you need to, because you don't want to just follow these systems blindly. I know this is why I'm doing this, and that'll give you some insight into what are the kind of things that you need to do to make it your own, to make it better, to make it convert to what you want it to turn into. So here's why free groups are important to me. I want to first show to people that I care about what I'm talking about. I want them to know that I am passionate about helping people with health and fitness, that I'm not just showing up to a business. And so when you put it out there that you offer free help, that you're going to invest in people without any return on that investment, that says a lot about you. If you're just showing up and offering groups that people can opt into, you're gonna have a little bit harder time. But when people are seeing that this is something that you really believe in and that you're willing to invest in them, then you have just gotten instant credibility. You've got an instant credibility right there. You already have people who are like, oh gosh, like she just really believes in helping people. She really does care. I mean, really, if you're passionate about helping people, you're gonna do it in return. And referrals, like this is such an easy way to get referrals. I grow my network largely through referrals to my free groups. I am less in friend requesting a whole bunch of people because I am all the time getting referrals from my free groups. I don't have to. And those referrals that I'm getting, my new contacts, so many of my new contacts, they are meeting me understanding of what I do. So I kind of call it like I'm microwaving the relationship. So many of us, when we're like adding to our network, we have to warm those people. We have to like start to get into like, forming, and it's a natural invitation to something. But if I already have people coming into my network who already know what I do and that I'm about health and fitness, and that the person that they, that referred them, like, got some success, or, then, like, I have to just, like, it's almost like the lazy man's way. It really is. It's almost the lazy man's way, except if you run a free group that did well, you know how much hustle goes into that free group. But because I'm microwaving relationships, so to speak, it is totally worth it. Plus, I just get a sense of fulfillment out of knowing that I am living authentically my purpose of helping people, and I can feel really good about that. Hannah asks, what things did you find absolutely necessary to require for free groups? Good question. So Hannah is asking what I require. And this is a really good question, because this is a large part of what I think people struggle with. And I'm going to get to that, Hannah. So that is part of what I'm going to talk about. So I'll tell you exactly what it is that I require. So a couple things that are non-negotiables to me is it's not negotiable to run a free group. I don't care if it's 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, but I will say the longer it is, engaged, because it's free and there's little skin in the game. So that's why I have settled into a 5-day slot. 5 to 7, 5 days clean eating groups. You can see a lot of change in 5 days with clean eating. You're going to have a little bit less effectiveness if you're doing a abs and arms or a plank challenge or squat challenge in 5 days. So I've done a few that are longer, because if it's more fitness based, they need a little bit longer to actually see some change or result. And like I said, when there's no skin in the game, their ability to adhere to something is really limited. Because it's free. It's one thing when they're paying $140, $200 to opt into your free group, or into your paid group. There's a level of accountability that they put down cash. But so you got to think about, when you're offering these free groups, they're going to fizzle out if they're too long. And I have them on that system that I shared with you already this week. If you have not checked out the files section, I did put in a document that maps out my my weekly plan and how So if you remember, I finished my free group last week. So I finished on the 31st, knowing for this month. So that's how it's all, sets me up for success early in the month. My other goal is I don't keep creating new free groups. Now I add some additional value to my current system, because creating new stuff, the more you create free stuff. And honestly, it's not the best use of your time. If you have to, you should go be inviting more. Anybody who has free time to go create content like that, they're not Success Club consistently and not investing in those relationships. So that's just don't do that. And that's why I said just take my free stuff and use it, and don't reinvent the have your handle on it. I will say, I know free clean eating groups isn't everybody's thing, but they convert the best out of anything I've tried. And I personally enjoy helping people with clean eating. Some people do so strictly, and like I said, it's only for like a short time. I'm not expecting that this is the way people should live, but I want them to see what accountability looks like. I want them to see why they need me. If they just wanted a free and they could go to Pinterest. I'm trying to do here, and this is what most people skip, is showing them why they need a group. They need a group, and I'm going to provide accountability to do the thing, A lot of people like to do like a water challenge or a plank challenge or, whatever. There's all kinds of things you can do, and I think those are great. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just keep in mind that a lot harder than to try water for. I'm going to get a lot more contacts. Probably it's easier to opt in, so I have larger numbers. But we want to convert, right? And when people see what can happen in just 5 days of eating clean, and they say that, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have stuck to this if it. Then you have, someone primed and right. Someone says the sound keeps going out. If this does not save well as a recording, then I will continue, assuming that it's okay. I'll check it on the Facebook page after to make sure that this content is recording. And if not, like I said, I'll just refilm it and post it. Here is my epic non-negotiable that most people miss. And Hannah alluded to this because Hannah's on my team and she's heard me talk about it big on this. There must be accountability. Absolutely, under no circumstances, be in your group and just be planted there. Because then you're just like every other direct sales person on here, overwhelming their groups with just numbers and numbers and numbers and seeing what sticks and seeing who actually is going to like follow through with, you know, purchasing from them. You want to create an environment that is exclusive. And when people opt in, they need to know what the expectations are. I have a guidelines, I'll share that all with you, that says, you know, I require, that's me personally. I won't suggest that everybody needs to require photos, but I promise you, if you do, your conversion will be better. And I know that if you're like a male coach and you're asking for women for photos, that's a little awkward. So there is the option to use the challenge tracker. I think you can, people can submit photos that are anonymous. But I personally require photos because that means to me that they're committed. At the very least, I say ask for measurements and strongly encourage them to take those photographs for themselves, because those photos are what at the end, when I before or after, they're like, holy crap. So that's why I strongly recommend photos. But at the very least, if someone's very uncomfortable, I will say, you know, at the very least, you know, just send me your measurement. This is just an accountability piece for you to see where you're starting at. It's really important for you to see where you're starting from. So even if you don't want to send them to me, if you're really uncomfortable with that, please take them for yourselves. It's really important to understand that starting place. So measurements are required for me to work with somebody, and they must check in. They must check into the group. I have a check-in post each day that asks a couple questions, and you'll see that in my plan. If they don't check in, then they're removed. And I think most people aren't doing that. And so I don't want to like them and make them, then hurt their feelings. If, at least I'm providing value to them if I leave them there. You're not. I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. When you don't hold people accountable, you have just totally discounted what you offer. You've totally discounted what exactly you're trying to sell to them. You're trying to sell to people accountability. Like I said, free menu, they could go to Pinterest, but they came into this group because they wanted accountability. And if they don't check in, they need to be removed. Here's how I tell them. Hey, so-and-so, I saw that you didn't check in today. No worries if now isn't the right time for you. Should I follow up with you next week or next month? And then they're like, oh, she was serious. She really wanted me to check in. Okay, no, I'll check in. Okay, great, no worries. And then next thing you know, they're like, okay, she's serious. Or they're like, oh no, I actually didn't hit the store. Sorry, yeah, I guess. And then they're like, oh, okay. And the next thing you know, they don't have access to the group. But I have just said to them, I understand if now isn't the right time, can I follow up with you? And that goes such a long way. If I had just let them in and let the thing ride, they would post. They don't care. So you are not helping people when you are not holding them accountable. So you're trying to be nice is actually not serving them, and it's actually totally discounting you and what you offer. Just think about the current social media climate right now, how many free groups you're added to that you pay no mind to. Even ones we opt into, not even the ones that people add us to, the ones that we even opt into thinking, oh, this will be good. I really want this kind of, I can't tell you how many things I've oh, this looks like good stuff. I could really learn from people in here, or I could really use some of this value. I don't check in, I don't have time for that. But if someone were like, hey, Megan, you said you wanted to learn how to do Facebook ads. Here's the challenge today. If they were to say today you're going to post this, I'm like, okay. They were serious. Shoot, okay, let me get serious then. So the next thing, now I'm next month, and they're going to know Megan is serious. Megan came to help a whole bunch of people in groups to get sales. No, she's helping me. So Jessica's saying, I'm thinking of all my challengers who fall off and then go inactive because they didn't get the results. Yeah, I mean, and you know, with my challengers that are paying, I don't remove them. I think some coaches do that, and I'm not opposed to that. Like, I think that could be really, you know, if you want to set that expectation up front for your like paid challenges, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't, but I personally, if they're not checking in and I'm, you know, I'm up in their face, but because they've invested so much, I'm not as comfortable, you know, removing them, because that's okay with me. But you know, for these 5 days when there's no skin in the game, like an investment, it is critical. It is why I have people coming back to me, people converting, people bringing friends because they're like, oh my gosh, I got results. This works. And so this is a huge one. And I've heard this before. Oh, well, we all run groups differently. Sure. I think that's fine. I think you should be your own coach. But this piece, doing it, and you're like, oh, well, that's just not what I do. Okay, if you convert well, okay. But I have yet to hear somebody who says, oh yeah, I don't do this, you know, I don't do that, to convert really well from their free groups. Like, I get at least 25% of my new people purchasing this way, because these are serious people, and they come, so if they realize you're serious and maybe they weren't ready that time, they come back, and they come back ready, and they come back. Do I promote the color-coded containers? Not for my free groups, but I don't, that's an option. I don't, I have offered the 5-day sampler, but it's not required. So you'll see in my guidelines that I do mention Shakeology, but it's kind of like an afterthought. I don't try to promote the products in there. But so many of my discount coaches and my HD challengers or HD coaches or customers are in my free groups, and they're using it, and they're talking about it, and they're using BOD, and they're already checking in with those workouts. People start to ask questions. So I don't have to. I don't have to, because my other challengers are. Okay, those are my non-negotiables. And another non-negotiable is personal check-ins. You must be personally checking in with these people, because it's free. You don't know that they're actually seeing everything you post. So I'm doing personal messages before, finding out what their goals are. I now use a form to collect their goals and stuff like that, their challenges and their struggles. And then I'm checking in with them on Saturday or Sunday and saying, hey, are you ready to go? Have you hit the store yet? So these free groups are not ready for you to be serious. And so when you're serious, like, hey, did you hit the store? They're like, oh yeah, you did give us a shopping list. They don't expect you to be groups. And so when you are, and you treat this like you treat this professionally, they take you seriously. So take your contacts seriously, and they will take you seriously, and they'll follow through. Okay, so those are my non-negotiables. So I'm going to briefly breeze through some of these like things I do before, because like I said, a lot of this is going to be in that outline that I share in the guidelines. So my kind of system is I do this I promote on a Sunday or a Monday prior to the weekend going to start. Sunday nights, Monday nights. Sunday nights are really good times when people are thinking about their poor decisions or poor choices over the house, and they're more primed to opt into something like this, especially cleaning. Exact same thing every single time. I have a few menus that I rotate through, but as soon as I have somebody saying, hey, is it the same menu from January? Interested? Fine. Like, then you are going to get a whole lot of moochers. You want people the value needs to be around the accountability and the environment and the experience, and not around some new awesome menus. Now, I will say, I give them each a new fun Smart Start in January, where I gave extra tips on goal setting. This last week I did, that I just finished, I did wake up to your idea of the morning. I do a miracle morning. If you haven't read Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, really extraordinary, lifestyle change that helped me a ton in my business. I wanted to share the same cleaning plan, and then I just interjected helping them morning routine. So giving them those themes, giving them added value. I've done like a summer sizzle where I just shared tips on staying fit and on track during this. So that's fun to keep it fresh, because let's be real, about every Beachbody coach and their brother has a free clean eating group. And if you can add a little bit of something original and unique and special, then you're going to cut through that noise. And so it can really be the same kind of environment, but you want to, you don't want to use the same, vegetable graphic that everyone uses for a clean eating group. You want it to have a little bit more originality. But you really don't have to like recreate stuff every time. I promise. I don't. It's like a streamline. Sarah asks, do you have people sign up as your free customers? Ooh, guess what this does? I know, I'm kind of geeking out with this new software. So, but I do require it for them to price. So in my guidelines, I say, the free, my free customer, I, appreciate that, for the prize drawing, that's going to be part of the requirements, but I don't require it. You can, I don't think it's wrong to, that's something that I think is, whatever. But I, require it for them to participate in the prize raffle at the end. So, I create an event to promote this. I do a post, obviously, but I do like the allows people to invite to it. So something that I started to do is something you should be doing unless you already have been doing free groups effectively and consistently is I require my previous participants to invite to it. I say, new people, you're in. But if you want, and Anita Miron gave me this idea, and this has grown my groups hugely, is say previous participants, invite 3 to join. And even if people don't actually follow through, the fact that they actually, tag their friends or invited their friends goes a long way, because then I get to friend request that person, start a relationship, and just have that as a new so everybody, refer a friend. Your friend completes the challenge with you, you'll get a free prize. You'll get a prize, a gift from me. And I send Shakeology samples. And this works. People will invite the time their friend halfway through or whatever. And I really don't much because people just don't actually follow through all the way. But they follow through enough that they remain in the group. Like if they get to day 3 and they're checking in, then they're in. So referral incentives are big. Making sure your event is public, guys. I think so many people don't choose the public option because it defaults to private. You're just gonna be friend requesting tons of people, so be really careful because how Facebook doesn't like that a whole lot. So just be cautious about friend requests. Okay, making sure, like I said, that you're messaging all these people and getting to know a little bit more about them, what their needs are. I open my group on Thursdays. On that Thursday before the Monday, I provide the guideline, snack list. So my meal plans have Shakeology in them as one of the snacks. But I say in that post on Thursday or Friday, you'll see Shakeology on the menu. This is XYZ. Here's what it's all about. However, because many of you already use this, I'm already kind of putting it out there. Many of you already use this, I know, but if you don't, here is I'm talking about Shakeology without promoting it. And I've just planted a seed about Shakeology. And here's your sample snack list. So it's already on their radar, what it's all about. And if you have your own before and afters, I think it's really important to share those, especially when you're asking them. Say for you to share, but just to show you that I am, leading by example. Here's where I start. Shakeology has changed my life. Posting this in the group beforehand. I don't really have a good transformation from clean eating that I can share, but but I think it's really important when you do have that to share with people so that they can feel, like you're being vulnerable and you're sharing with them your pictures that, you maybe weren't proud of, where you're at now. So sharing that in the group and vulnerable about your story. So going live in the video, in the group, this is who I am, this is why I do this, here is, why this is important. So let them get face-to-face with you, especially with all these new people. You want to develop that connection because you're microwaving your relationship right now. And so get in their face with who you are, what you're about, and and what you're expecting from them. I'm sorry that this keeps cutting out. I really hope it records well and then saves to the group okay. So something that I like to do the weekend before, and this is just the best practice, not essential, but I have them where they go into a small raffle and they share a picture of their clean eating meal prep, their stocked grocery cart, or their stocked fridge, and tag me and say something about how excited to get started. And so you have all these tag posts on your page, and then their friends are asking questions, and now you have even more new contacts to add to your next group because they're going to be asking questions. Well, how do you do that? What's that all about? Oh, that looks like prepping. How can I get a part of that? You have so many people that already are coming to you ready for. Liana, how many times do you post a day in the group? I post once or twice, sometimes twice. The third post that is scheduled as a check-in. I do a morning post, and then I'll sometimes do a post. You'll see those all in my little outline. Okay, so I want to keep this short, and this is kind of a part one. I'll do a part two tomorrow, but I wanted to get this out. Daily, maybe not necessarily daily live videos, but definitely at least a couple times. I do about 3 to 4 a week in that group where I talk about the importance of hydration. I talked about bloating symptoms, detox symptoms. I talk about how they're going to experience sugar withdrawal. I talk about maybe some meal prep tips or hidden sugar in the foods we eat. And then I go in, like say Wednesday, and I talk about, guys, this is really helping me stay accountable. I'm so glad that I had this group going on this week because today I would have chosen this because I'm supporting you. So you want to plant that seed for why accountability is important. Because on Thursday is when you're going to invite to your paid challenge. You're going to put it out there about your challenge, but you're going to do all these personal invitations beforehand. So put it out there publicly, but I want you to individually invite every single person to your next challenge. So they get that personal invite, but then they see other people responding in that post. A little bit of a domino effect, this FOMO when you post in there. So let me finish this up because I don't want this to go like 30 minutes long. And then I'm going to do a part two tomorrow. Something that really helps tell today, I wanted to give you guys first dibs on this group before I post it to my public page. So I want my free group participants to know that they are special to me. They've invested time in me. They have, they've trusted in me. So I'm telling them before I put this out to the public, I want to make sure you get first dibs. And this just shows them that I'm committed to them, that I'm not going to just go, no, I will. I'm going to invite everybody, but I want these people to know that they're the first people that I am, putting into this group and getting them rolling and started. Okay. There's so much content. I want to invite some questions right now to come back to me tomorrow with questions that I can answer in that live video. You can post them below in the comment section, and I'd like to answer any of those for you, but I do have part two content to share. Nothing showing up now, so I'll go ahead. Oh, Hannah says, how do you keep track of who has done what once the group gets large? Well, once the group gets large, well, it depends on what you mean by large. I have an assistant now. Now, when I just had under 50, 60 people, that I didn't have to, because honestly, if I had 50 people in a new group, right now I have, well over 100 in a group, but aren't checking in. That's just going to happen. Just know that. If you have 50 people opt into your free group, half is not unrealistic number to actually like drop out. That's okay. That's normal and that's okay. That's okay. Just let them go and follow up with them later. So unless you're getting like close to like 70, 80, 90, 100 people, this shouldn't be an issue because you should be removing people who have aren't checking in. So that first day, you're going to get a feel for who's actually in. So that you give them until Tuesday, whatever noon deadline. Anybody who has not checked in, I am tagging them on that Tuesday morning. My assistant does now, but before I was just saying, hey, so-and-so, haven't gotten your photos or haven't gotten your check-in, just wanted to be sure that you're still, in. And if I don't hear back from them, they are out. And now I have a much more manageable number to work with. But if you are getting to a place where you are getting 100 people and it's so much to manage, well, you can afford probably to, get an assistant to like $10 or whatever. Those things, because I mean, if you're that large, you're making an income. That's just, that's how it's. There's no way that I'm getting those kind of numbers well enough that I can support that with a little bit of added help. But you could also do a Google form check-in. That might be an option that keeps you from having to count names and numbers. Someone just asked a question that I lost. Here it is. How long do you wait before a response? I've given them a deadline. I've already said to them, I need your photos by noon on Monday. And so if I don't see them, I might just like give them to the end of the day. But there's already been an expectation. So at that point, it's all fair game. And say, hey, so-and-so, haven't gotten your check-in, just be sure to check in by noon. I don't give them long because the expectations are all laid out there very clearly in the guidelines. This is a lot of information, a lot of content, which is why I'm going to put that my guidelines and my process, my system, and there for you to read through, because some of this is it's all mapped out for you. It walks you through step by step. But I really wanted to get in front of you to share with you a couple of things I think you could be doing wrong, and that's largely around and personally and intentionally getting to know these people and connecting with these people and making sure that they're serious and ready to go. Do I let people back in? Not that week. Nope. I mean, if they said, oh my gosh, I'll get my photos tonight. Yeah, I'm a gracious, merciful person. So, but if they really wanted it bad enough, then they would do it. Like if they're pleading to get back in, like, oh yeah, I don't remove them without giving them a little heads up. So I don't really have to worry about, that's not true. I do have people say, hey, I tried to log into the group today and I couldn't get back in. Like I couldn't get in. Like, what's up? Like I tried to check in. I was like, oh, well, I tagged you because you hadn't, I tagged you because you didn't check in on Monday. But they're like, hey, I was trying to get the Wednesday menu, but I can't, the group's not working for me. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I tagged you on Monday, but you hadn't checked in. I just assumed that you weren't, you weren't ready this week. Oh, and then, so if they're like ready to pull it together and get back in, cool. If they're not, actually pull it together and actually give me their photos and check in, then I think this person just thought they were coming for a free menu, and that's not what I'm offering here. And so I can bless and release them, but say, hey, but I'd love for you to join me next month. Can I follow up with you? And then they're like, they might be a little bit disappointed. They might be, because I want them to know I'm serious. Right? People are going to respect that and be like, shoot, I needed that. I needed someone to call me out. I needed someone to say, hey, you're not actually following through with your plan to get healthier. And this is the girl who's doing it. So yeah, I'm going to join her thing next time. She's just not looking for a sale. She's looking to, and I promise you, they come back, they trust you, they think you're legit. If you're taking them serious, you treat this business professional. Okay, that's part one. I want you to absorb that and process that. If you have questions, type them below. I can answer some of those tomorrow. And by the end of the day, I'll put my free group system in there for you to check out. Okay. Watching.